the underdog, Nathan Heaney.
Not the underdog anymore, though.
The greatest experience in sport I have ever had. Like, it was just phenomenal.
So what happens now?
Frank did say the winner will fight for a world title next year, and I was the winner.
That moment when you're waiting for the result, and obviously when the result gets, what's going through your head?
I know I'm moments away, mate. So, yeah, but it was just that moment. It's just like, it's gonna happen.
This is the George Groves Boxing Club. I'm George Groves, as ever, with Deck Taylor, and today we have the underdog, Nathan Heaney.
Not the underdog anymore, though.
Yeah.
No, not me. No, the new underdog.
Yeah.
Are you still the underdog? He's not the underdog anymore, are you?
I don't know. I guess I think I still will be. I'll probably, possibly in the future, but that, after Saturday, hopefully I put some of them underdog things to the side. But hopefully not, because I love it when my Stokies make a fortune on the betting odds. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get good odds like that again.
Yeah, so you're 12-1 in this fight with some people. That's what I saw. So 12-1 against Denzel Bentley for the British middleweight title. There, you got it there. Look, don't let it out your sight. Yeah. I mean, 12-1 is a mad price in a two-horse race. Yeah. At the best of times.
Are you
even aware of that?
I was aware on the way up of 9-1 because I was just looking. Obviously, I can't remember what post I put out on Facebook, but the comments. I was just quickly scrolling through the comments. It was just lovely seeing like all the best Nathan. Like the amount of support was phenomenal. But I saw this one picture, and this lad said, "Please make sure you win, mate. I've got a bet on you." And it was 50 quid on at 9-1. And I said, "Steve, 9-1." I was like, "That's just like they're giving me no chance whatsoever." But if anything, it helped me. Like I just thought, come on, it gave me a bit of motivation, a bit extra. It didn't make anything negative in me. I just thought, this is madness. Obviously they don't rate me at all. So,
or maybe it's more that people rated Denzel.
Well, yeah, and rightly so, because he's a very, very good fighter. But yeah, it was interesting. I've never really had that. It was the whole dynamic was different than I've ever experienced before. They all walking in first and not second, being the challenger, and it was just very strange. And obviously, like looking at the odds and stuff on the way up there, I just had to be really strong on the way and mentally going into it.
We'll deep dive a bit on that. The idea of underdogs. You were underdog a couple of times, once in particular. Just seeing how it might affect the way that you approach the fight and everything else. But since we've got you here and we're only a few days after the event, like, has it sunk in yet what you pulled off on Saturday? Yeah,
it's weird. Like the whole thing itself is weird. Like when me, Steve and Danny parked up outside the Manchester Arena, and we were going to go to get some food. And
what sort of time was this?
You're talking 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Saturday night.
Yeah, 7:30, 8 o'clock. It wasn't late. Well, I was told I was going to be boxing potentially 20 to 12 at night. And so I thought, right, we're going to go a little bit later. Yeah. But then when we actually got in the change room, they said, you want at 10:15, which didn't work out anyway. Because, so I was like,
I just had McDonald's.
Normally I like getting there at least 4 hours before the event.
So 4 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so I can assess the arena, see what it looks like. But anyway, we're at the car park, and I just said to Danny, it's so weird. We're about to headline at Manchester Arena for the biggest fight in my career, but it doesn't feel like it at all. It just feels like we're just going for it in the town now. Forget some Christmas presents because the Christmas markets is just opened. So weird. But I think it's good to have that disconnect. It wasn't like I was thinking about it at all. And but in terms of it sinking in, it's no, not really, because it's just because I see boxing as external to myself. Anyway, I don't think myself, I am the British champion. I don't think like that. It's weird. I'm the British champion. I am, But then when you do the school run on Monday, you're suddenly back to reality. It's just normal life. It's so weird. But the greatest experience in sport I have ever had. Like it was just phenomenal. You've been there yourself when it comes to the Gale and stuff. Like the feeling of when you win. Now, granted, you're much higher level than I've ever boxed at, but like that's like it was just, it was amazing.
And that you were the underdog in the Gale fight, weren't you, for the British fight?
I was.
Not a 9-1 job, but many people were picking the Gale. Yeah, you had to sort of listen to that.
I think Hey backed me to win on points.
That was because you were his mate.
Yeah. No, but he went points and he won. It might not have been as big as 12 to
Oh, is that
1.
why his celebration
It was
was
decent.
so
Yeah,
mad?
that's what I was like after. I was like, was you really happy for him, mate? Or was it just he's got his little betting slip in his hand?
Yeah.
But there's like that sense of accomplishment, you know, like when you are the underdog and no one's really picking you to win, and then I felt like I detached myself from the fight in the build up, maybe a little bit like you're describing now. You know, you're at the venue. Have you boxed at the Manchester Arena already?
Yeah, I boxed before. Yeah, so and this is a weird thing that I've spoken about before. I boxed at Flatley on the Joyce Parker undercard, and all my Stokies were in the upper tier, so right in the gods, which I didn't know at the time. I didn't know how far away the tickets were going to be. But when
top tier they were?
Yeah, the top tier. So when me and Bentley, like you say, this underdog mentality stuff, when me and Bentley were first announced, I started sparring for the first time, and I was getting my head pinged off by this lad called George Davey. Now, my mate Luke said I was sparring good, but he's 2 weight divisions below me. He was hitting me with shots, and I was thinking, if Bentley does this to me, if this kid's doing this to me, Bentley's going to rip me to shreds. So I had this dead negative mindset of, I was in the upper tier, I had this image in my head, I was in the upper tier looking at the ring, so it's miles away, and I'm just on my knees, on one knee like I've been put down. Dead weird. You don't really want to be thinking like that.
Are you visualising this just during the day? Or is this like
just randomly, just in the day or whatever. So just think, I'm thinking, why am I thinking like that? But then you're deep in the fight and you know it's happening. And then as the weeks progressed, I was getting fitter and sparring was getting much better. Then all of a sudden, it's weird how that belief or that disbelief changes to like, you believe you can do something, and then it was always changing more positively, but there was a period about 7 weeks ago where I just think about slipping a shot and throwing the right hand. I don't know if you've had this, but just thinking about the fight, your body thinks you're actually fighting. You still go fight in flight mode. So weird. So I was getting like adrenaline shocks all day, every day for about a week. I was thinking, what's going on here?
Have you had it before for any other fights?
I have, yeah. But I thought to myself at the time, it's because my dad had just died, so I thought maybe that was something to do with it, possibly. And the only thing that stopped that happening, I remember, it was weird, even just like touching the shower button, just sent like an adrenaline shock through me. I was thinking, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown here. This wasn't before the Bentley fight. This was 3 years ago, whatever it wasn't, 4 years ago. 2017. No, 2019 it was. 2019, yeah. But then I said, you've just gone through your dad dying. Like, this fight's nothing compared to that. And then once I thought that, it just stopped. And then for some reason, once I realised the adrenaline shots were just normal, they all of a sudden just stopped. And then it was just focusing on the fight completely then. And then the weeks were getting better, I was getting fitter, I was doing everything Steve was asking me to do. And then by the time the week came, I was just thinking, I don't think I can lose this fight. I know that sounds ridiculous because you have to have that belief anyway, but the way I was performing and the way I was doing the work on the pads and running up the hills, I just knew me and Steve just got it bang on.
Did you share any of them visions, if that's what they are? You know, the thoughts of losing, and then which manifests into the thoughts of winning.
I don't think I told anyone about. No, because I wouldn't want anyone to think I was thinking that negatively. But I did share with Steve. I just said about, I'm getting nerves or adrenaline. I said I can't stop these adrenaline shocks. But then I think it was actually just speaking about them, to be honest. Then stopped it a little bit, like, because I think it's because I was internally processing it instead of just speaking about it. And then once I spoke to Steve about it, I spoke to some other lads. They were just like, it just means a lot to you, the fight does.
So you're like applying pressure to yourself, maybe.
Essentially, yeah. But then once I did realise what it was all about and just let it happen, instead of thinking, oh, the adrenaline's happening, it's negative, it actually just disappeared completely.
Do you think it helped? Do you think you performed better in camp for actually having negative force to start with?
Well, I was thinking to myself, this can't go on for another 6 or 7 weeks because I'll have no adrenaline on the night. I'll be drained. So that's what was causing the negative feedback loop that kept going around in my head.
Right.
But then once I realised it's going to stop eventually, and it did. It sounds like I'm having a real thing here, but it was only for a short period of time. Like I say, about a week. I was just thinking about the fight, this and that, almost becoming a bit obsessed with it, to be honest. Thinking about it too much, the fight. But then once we just...
Is that possible, do you think, to overthink?
Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Just, you don't need to think about it. Like, let your coach think about it. Just listen to him. If you trust him, just let them do all the work. You don't need to think about anything. Obviously, I watch little bits of fighters just to see what their attributes are about. So I know if they got a good chin, if they're quite tenacious what they're doing, and what... Because I think style-wise, you can look at a fighter, but they can change. Fighters can change, and you can prepare for something that's completely different on the night. So I just look at attributes of them.
Nathan, if someone said to you, right, it's Denzel Bentley fight, you're the underdog, but it's just another fight, just treat it like another fight. Or they said, this is Denzel Bentley fight, this is the hardest fight you're ever going to have. Yeah. Which one would you rather hear?
Well, I already had it. It was Steve, my coach. He just said, it's just another fight. When you
that's what the coach always says.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the right instruction?
For me personally, it depends on the fighter. Yeah. It depends if they crumble. Like, have they got thoughts that run wild with them that would destroy them? If you said this is the biggest fight of your career, like Steve said to me on the way up in the car, listen, son, you can make history here. You can make history, and I know I can make history. Like, but I didn't overthink. I didn't think, oh my God, I can make history. Like, it's just, I know that's what can happen. Like, and I know I can win the British title if it all goes right. But yeah, but Steve just said to me, when you wake up Sunday morning, regardless of what's happened the night before, every fight we've had, you wake up the next day, you make a cup of tea, and it's just another fight. It's just another night. It's just normal, and that's the way I like to look at it anyway. And yeah, it's worked so far anyway.
I think that's a good question, because your Tudor fight, with everything, the history and so much riding on it, and like, you've got the money waiting for you in the Super Series. What did you think? Did you think this is everything, or do you think just turn up, perform, have a cup of tea on the Sunday morning? Can you remember?
Yeah, no, I tried to make it like
this is just another fight. Just another fight.
Yeah. But
what was Shane saying?
To get my DeGale fight wasn't just another fight. Yeah. It was, this is life and death almost. This is everything. And I always say that if I ever meet a fighter and they've got a big fight, I usually tell them that.
Yeah, like Chris.
I told it to Chris William-Smith. I said to Luke Campbell before he fought Lomachenko. It might be counterintuitive. It might not be necessarily the right thing for the right fighter, but there's a part. I feel like there's not enough people out there who campaign for that way of thinking. It's more just because it's much more comforting to say, don't panic, don't stress, just another fight. But ultimately, you wake up the next morning and you make a cup of tea. Is different when you got the British title looking at you, gleaming up at you. Then you've just beat someone who you might beat them already, or
maybe it's better to say to the fights how their reactions, like say the adrenaline I had and the feelings that you could potentially have in the biggest fight of your life, is normal. Like, it's normal. Like, if I knew that you were getting nervous before big fights and stuff, it's a normal reaction. Some people that I knew in like amateur boxing days, because I had 90 fights in amateur, but I knew when my days were up because I no longer had nerves. I just didn't have anything anymore. I just literally waiting in the back room and thinking, I'm going to have a fight here, and I know I'll probably fight my heart out and I'll probably lose on a split majority decision again. Happened quite a lot as an amateur, to be honest. So I had that adrenaline, everything went. So I knew that my days as an amateur were gone, as a boxer were gone. But it's nice now that I have him more than ever, really. In a good way, though. Not in a negative way, in a good way. He just knows I love what I'm doing and how much it means to me, at least.
Speaking of that adrenaline, I want to ask, and we want to get into a bit, that moment when you're waiting for the result, and obviously when the result gets, what's going through your head? You just look like, it looks like it's going on for an hour, and you're just like, please someone tell me that I've won this fight.
Yeah.
And Bentley's sort of giving it this one, but half-heartedly. Yeah. And you're kind of, at that moment, are you like, I've won this?
I knew I'd won it. Even when they said 114, I was like, I could, in my head, when I watch it back and thinking, bloody, it looks like I can't hold myself up, like the way I'm like, like it's because I know I'm moments away, mate.
I'm not loving.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, man.
But I spoke about my dad earlier and didn't get upset. Speak about the British title, but it was just that moment. It's just like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You knew at that point.
I just knew, man. And when he said 116, 113, and then 117, 111, I thought, mate, there's no way that someone's ripped me off that much. There's no way. Yeah, sorry about anything.
No,
just it just. And like when I fell on the floor and you see, I watched myself. I was like, bloody hell, it's like an exorcism or something. But it's just that much.
What's going through your head at that point? Can you even remember?
I can't remember. And it's weird because for the whole time I had my eyes closed. Even when I won and I'm on the floor, I just got my eyes closed. It's like, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest.
Had you planned for the win in your brain? You know, you're visualising. You've gone from visualising getting up off the floor to visualising winning. But you haven't told us that you visualised getting your hand raised?
Oh, yeah. Like, one of the greatest pieces of music ever composed was Bill Conti's Final Bell from Rocky. Mate, I played that. And you think I got upset there, mate? I'm telling you. In my own kitchen at home, I'm just imagining. Because it starts off there, it's like... And then and I was just imagining myself. And, mate, every time I got sat there... Tears, mate. Tears, like, because I was thinking, this will be the greatest moments of my life in terms of sporting moments anyway. And so I had envisioned that, I had envisioned it quite a few times. But what's weird is when I played the song on the way back in the car, me and my wife were driving back after I'd won the British title. I played the song, didn't get upset once. It's weird. Because I'd done it. I didn't get upset once. It's very weird. Whereas before, it's just imagining the feeling of winning. I knew what it would feel like. And when obviously it actually happened, mate, the most incredible feeling ever. I just knew I'd won. Even that 14-14, 114, I was like, I didn't even think to myself, I didn't say anything bad. I was just thinking, nah. I was like, no, please. Like, that's all I was saying. And then they said Nathan. I was just like, oh, amazing. I don't think that even if I won a world title, which sounds ridiculous, but let's say I did, I don't think it would ever beat that moment, because that was my world title. That first one. British title, it was against an opponent that's fought for a world title. He's very highly respected and regarded. So for me, that was my world title, and I don't think that can ever be beaten ever again.
Do you think that emotion there is that are you tied to because you've achieved something that you set out to, and it's the reward for the work that you've put in?
Yeah, it's just
it's a release there.
Yeah, and just like you put all the work in, you've done it, dedicated your whole life to the sport. And people have always, at least not my guys, my supporters have been phenomenal. But I think from what I heard, even some of my supporters were in the toilets apparently saying, I don't think you got a chance tonight. Which in itself is amazing, because even though they don't believe I got a chance, they're still there. But they didn't believe I had a chance, which is madness. Some of them will believe that I can beat anyone in the world because they got that much love for me. But I don't think many thought I was going to do it. I think that's what made it even better.
Did you end up having any conversations with people? Because I remember when I boxed the girl, like, people wanted me to win, but there was a lot of people who didn't think I could. And like they're coming to support me, exactly the same as you're saying. Yeah. And you know, you try not to have a wobble throughout camp, being like, and try not to get emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that? Did you have any did you even have any friends who say?
No,
not like, or you could just catch them stuttering.
I didn't have any. No one ever told me, at least, like, to my face. Maybe they might have secretly thought, I don't think he's got a chance, because you find a lad that's knocked 80% of his guys out. He's only lost to Felix Cash and Janabek, so he was like a very, very good world champion. I think he's the IBF and WBO, and Felix Cash was highly regarded as well. So he's only had 2 losses against very, very, very good guys. But I don't know. It's just one of them. It's just, can you turn up to do it? And obviously, I proved on Saturday night I can.
That moment then, it's in the ring. Obviously, it's this explosion of emotion and joy. And then you have to you do a bit interviews and whatnot, and then you sort of go back to the dressing room. Yeah. And then you sort of get back to life, like you say, make a cup of tea. What did that evening look like? You got 2,000 of your fans, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what's the plan? Like, how are you celebrating that night, and what's the feeling?
So we went in the back room, and Steve Woodvine, who's like one of my best mates and obviously my coach as well. He was just elated because he's dedicated his life to the sport. He's been with the Own Boxing Club as a young boy, he boxed himself, but then he's also been training the amateurs probably the last 15 to 20 years. Dedicated his life to the amateur sport but does everything for his fighters. Like I remember when one of my first ever fights as a pro, his commission was like 60 quid. It was nothing. But I was like, yo, Steve, he's like, no, you have it. I was like, it's 60 quid, it's yours. So like, give him 60 quid. But that's the kind of person he is. It's just all for his fighters. So, and he would have loved, he's loved boxing his whole life, obsessed with it, and seen all the great fights throughout the years, particularly for the Lonsdale belt. So for him to win the biggest prize in British boxing, like domestically, I know he loved it. He loved every second. And even he said, I don't think we'll ever replicate that moment ever again. I just don't think you can. Because, like you said about the underdog, everything about it just was like, we were the underdogs, and it just, how were you going to perform on the night? Like Steve said to me in the build-up, listen, I've seen glimpses of what you can do. You just need to show it more now. No one knows what you can do, but I know what you can do. And if you show it, you'll stand him on his head. And I was thinking, yeah, I just need to do what you say. It's easier said than done, but the week of the fight, I just said, if I do what you say, Steve, I think I can box his ears off. This is no disrespect by saying that to him. This is just a personal conversation that me and Steve had, and I did what he said on the night, and it all worked well. It all worked well, and then they were the rewards.
It's one of them where everyone says you're going to lose, and the bookies and everyone, even some of your fans, but the one voice that matters most to you, Steve. Yeah, he says you're not, so it doesn't really matter about the rest of the noise. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said about how do you go back to normal life, whatever. But straight after, I wanted to meet some of my friends because I had a few missed calls. So this was late at night. So what sort of time you're out? Talking 2 in the morning. Showered and so 2 in the morning. Like it was 2 in the morning. Just. I said, eat at Primworks, which is like a bit with some bars and stuff. And my mate was there. I said, I'm coming to you now. I could hardly walk because my back was in bits. Like I didn't even know he still got in the change room, and I literally couldn't sit down. I was like, like it was agony. But I think that's all the rolling, twisting. Obviously, Bentley was leaning on me a little bit and twisting me around. I think that had a bit of play to that. And then so I got to the bar. I think it was O'Neill's, the bar, pub was or whatever, and they were just closing up, but they let me in for a little bit to see my friends, and I was like, I've got to go now, boys, I'm knackered. But then I say I'm knackered, I got in bed, and I was like this for all night until like 8 in the morning. Louise was asleep next to me, I was like this, I couldn't sleep. I was absolutely buzzing, and it was great because online the feedback was amazing. It was just amazing. I love seeing. It was just great. People love an underdog story though. They do love an underdog story. Yeah. So when I boxed for the British title, I was wired that night as well. Really? In bed, and then checking. It was Twitter back then. Checking the Twitter updates because people love an underdog. Like it's just great story. What was Steve saying to you in the changing room? Was it anything different? Do you feel anything different beforehand or before the fight? Sorry, Was you the same in the change room before the fight? Yeah, the same. One thing, I like a nice quiet changing room, I do. No music, no nothing. And I saw a video that TNT Sports had shared of me just shadowboxing, and even for me, it was really quiet in there. Like you could hear a pin drop. I was thinking, bloody hell, that can make you even more nervous. Like I think some people that make really uneasy and edgy, but I like it because I'm waiting for Delilah to kick in the music. That's the first music I want to hear on the night, and it sets everything. But no, I think Steve, we just went through. We'd already gone through everything in the build up to it, but then he just said, "Listen, I want you to keep readjusting, move your feet, keep triggering, just do that. That's all I need you to do. Just do that." And yeah, I think he even used you as an example in the build up, like about your jab and stuff like how you're flicking like and stinging with a jab, and yeah, Steve was just great. Steve just set everything for me for that night. Have you bought anything to treat yourself? The reason I ask is I saw a video of you and you got a bean to cup coffee machine. Yeah. Same, and it's my pride and joy. Have you bought anything? Have you upgraded your coffee machine, or have you bought anything since Saturday? What are you gonna like? Surely you're gonna mark it by buying something. Yeah, You buy a microwave or something?
Yeah, no, I bought nothing. I did buy a bottle of red wine because I love having a glass of red the day after my fight. But these fights are getting a bit harder now. So when I do my live stream on Facebook and I sip it, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not enjoying this wine at all. I thought I'd enjoy it more. But so I'll get myself a bottle of wine, a nice bottle of wine now, and I will enjoy it because it's just, you're that fatigued, mate, after the fight. You're thinking, but I love it because I've gone like 3 or 4 months without a drink of red wine, and I'll have it. So it's just a bit of a customary practice I like to do after a fight. It's just a bit of a tradition, but that kind of stuff. I thought to myself, well, I've always got to do that no matter what, but I would hate to do it as a loser. I'd hate the next day to be like, hi guys, on my live stream with my wine, crying in tears into my glass, I'm drinking it. So it puts a bit of pressure on me to make sure that I win the fight.
It'd be Ribena or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be red wine.
Yeah. Let's go back a bit to the train and the prep for this fight. And and like I said, you're the underdog in the fight and everyone's writing you off. Does that alleviate any pressure on you in the gym? Are you thinking there's no expectation of me here? Are you even thinking that?
Yeah, because that's a weird one, isn't it? Because the fact of the matter is you just don't want to lose regardless.
You've still got to fight.
Yeah, just regardless of whether someone thinks you're an underdog or thinks you're a favourite, you've still got to win, and that's what you want to do. So I don't think it changed anything in that regard. But what it could potentially do is it could change your opponent's perspective.
Yeah.
In the sense of, if everyone's telling you, every time you look online, you're going to knock this kid out in 2 rounds, it won't last a round, it won't last 3 rounds. You might buy into that a little bit, possibly, and just think it's going to be easy. Who knows? I don't think Bentley's the kind of person to do that. But sometimes, maybe you can't even be helped if you're seeing that all the time. Like, you can get in there, you can get that Nathan Heaney kid, and you're just going to smash him to bits. So there's pressure on him. In fact, when I boxed Jack Flatley the first time, I believed I was better than him, but I knew people probably perceived that I should be winning that fight, but I did feel a lot of pressure for that fight. The first one, I had a big cut on my eye, and I felt a lot of pressure in that because I thought you're expected to beat this person, and that's what made it. I definitely had more pressure in that fight, 100%. And I remember being with my wife in the kitchen, just thinking, I've got to win this fight. I've got to win this fight. You got to win them all, but for some reason that was worse. The rematch we had, I performed really well, and it was great. But yeah, I think when you're expected to beat someone, there is more pressure. So
and less on you.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, because like you said, there is no expectation.
Can you
but it depends. Like, because if you're the underdog and everyone else thinks the other guy's going to win, but you expect to win, you want to win, that's an awful lot of pressure there too.
On yourself.
And it's that subliminal message that everyone's got, is that you're not going to win this fight. He's going to win this fight. He's ring walking, believing he's going to win the fight. The eyeballs watching it are waiting to see some sort of outcome. There's unconscious bias that you've got to be wary of. I always found that something that you try and detach from, but I think it was a pressure. Not be favourite.
The Frotch first fight, that was probably the biggest, the most widest underdog you've been, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first Frotch fight?
Yeah.
Did you feel any of that? Did you even care about people saying, Eddie Hearn saying medically unsafe this fight and all that sort of business?
You don't care because you're trying to not care, you know. But that does feel like a workload that you've got to do, like in terms of convincing a lot of people that you're going to win.
But psychologically, though, you played that first fight very, very well. Like, I remember seeing the press conference and stuff, and you were phenomenal in the build up to it. Like, yeah, and I remember me and my dad had a big thing. My dad pitched you, he's going to stand him on his head. He's going to absolutely pitch you for this. And I was thinking, there's no chance. Frotch is too thin. I've never seen a man jump so high off the sofa in that first round, because he was like, he was just
knows his boxing.
Yeah, he's basically, but yeah, because that's what he said. He knows better more than me. I've never seen a man jump so high in that. That was an amazing fight. That was. Yeah, obviously shouldn't have ended the way he did, but still. Digress.
But you had that feeling though, that siege mentality. Did you harness any of that? Like that idea of, no. Bollocks to everyone else, doesn't matter. I'm here to do this, or are you just the same as always?
I was just pretty chilled, to be honest.
Yeah. And do you think that was the key? Do you think that helped?
I think you can let your emotions get a hold of you, 100% in a press conference. Like the way, for example, when people say things, when you do the face off, I think now people do that when they're a bit nervous and they speak. The reason I know that is because in the second Jack Flatley fight, there was pressure on for that one because obviously it was a rematch. And I was thinking, what does he know about me the first time that he can change for this fight? And for the first time ever, I wanted to say something at the face-off, but I had to stop myself because I thought to myself, that's out of character for me. I wanted to say something because I was nervous. I know I was. And then I realised after that, I thought, nah, when these other guys are doing the same thing, they're doing it for a reason. They're not scared as such, but they almost are because they're trying to make themselves feel more comfortable. That's why they doing what they're doing. So I just like being nice and calm. Like I say, the build-up, it was respectful between me and Bentley anyway.
Yeah.
He's a very good lad, and you can see the way he conducts himself in the sport anyway. And you don't really need to do that to sell a fight. I think the way we fight anyway is pretty entertaining, so that hopefully should sell itself. And yeah, but I just enjoyed the build up to it. I didn't feel any pressure from that at all. I felt calm, confident when we were having like exchanges and stuff, and yeah, it was good.
How was you feeling during the fight? That first bell goes and you come together.
Yeah. So when he walks in, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is it. It's happening now. It's like the reality of it is there. I've just done Delilah, feel amazing. You feel like you can literally fight anyone. And for the first time ever, I had to prove that, because I've said it before, when you walk out to Delilah and all your supporters are singing and you're singing with them, it's like a Stoke City hacker. It's like it just gets you ready for battle, and I'd say you can beat anyone. Well, that was the night I had to prove that you can beat anyone if it comes to it. But he's in front of me and I'm just thinking, right, the man's in front of you now. You got the fight. And then first round, I just did what Steve told me to do. Just readjust, keep doing what you need. And I just felt like Steve's right. I just straight away, I just knew Steve has got this bang on. And then it just continued. I'd got more confidence as each round went on. The only one I slipped up a little bit was round 8 and 9 maybe, where I didn't really lose the rounds as such, but I just wasn't as effective as I was previously when I was boxing and hitting shots a bit harder, because that's when Steve had a bit of a go at me. He said, you're going backwards, but you're not hitting him. You're not making respect to you at all, and he'll run away with them rounds. So that's why I had to start digging in a little bit more in certain parts of the fight.
I've heard boxers say in the past, after 10 seconds I knew I'd won this fight. When did the penny drop for you?
I can never think that, because he punches too hard.
Yeah, he really does.
And there was times, I mean, in the first 30 seconds, he threw a right hand, thumb right in my eye, straight in my eye, and I thought, he's going Mark Efron here, like where Mark Efron had a big swollen eye. I almost felt it swell up immediately, but fortunately he didn't go any bigger than that. He just switched back on, so he caught me with that one. And when we had some exchanges where I'm going through it, and the strength he generates from that short range is phenomenal. Very, very, very strong. So I knew the whole fight, even though I was doing really well, it only takes one, particularly with a guy with a knockout ratio like him. And so I never just thought, I've won this. I had to be switched on for the all 12 rounds.
Yeah, because he's a big puncher, but it just looked to me like a fight where he thought he was going to knock you out, and then when you hit, and he did land a few times, and you took it, and he was like, oh shit, I haven't got a plan B here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean by that? Did you feel that? Did you feel his belief start to drain, and he's like, I'm in trouble here?
No, I wouldn't say the belief ever drained from him. I don't think that, because I think when you got the punch like that, I think you always believe you're going to knock him out. But I've been there myself as an amateur. I remember knocking this one lad out. I went up Sheffield, first round, knocked him out. I was like, oh my God, I've got the power now. And then I fought a lad the next fight, a lad called Jack Lamford. He just won the CYPs or whatever, and I hit him with everything. I won the fight convincingly, but he just didn't budge. And then you realise that this magic hand's not magic anymore. Like, there's too many variables that go into it in terms of knocking some people out. Like, but I just knew I've got, although I never want me to chin tested, I'm quite a tough lad. In 23 years, I've only been put down twice, and then I've been straight back up afterwards. It was just flashes, and that's twice in like, you think how many rounds of sparring and fights you've been doing over 108 fights and thousands of rounds of sparring, how many punches been thrown at you. So I knew I was okay in that area. You just don't want to get tested by it, though, because no matter who you are, you can get put on your arse, like, and Bentley can certainly do that.
Because you start dropping your hands. I'm not sure which round this is, and just giving him a different look. Yeah, I'm sure, but you can see, this is a confident fighter at this point. Like, you're in your flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was you conscious of that at that point? Are you thinking, I've won this fight now? As long as...
It was just more... I was just enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I just... Because, see, I can do... When you're with the amateurs and certain fighters, you can do it and you think, you're looking brilliant to do anything, but then how are you going to do that against someone like Denzel Bentley, who's a dangerous puncher? You don't really want to risk putting your hands down, really. But sometimes you just... Especially if you've got the range correct, you can do that because you see the shots coming in, and it gives you more freedom to obviously move your head and stuff. Whereas when I'm up here tight, it does make me a bit more rigid, but more protected as well. But that it just, the flow of it was definitely coming along, and I wasn't. I think it looked like I was enjoying it because I was enjoying it. I was loving it. It was great, and then obviously the crowd. Because even when I was having to be tactical, because Bentley realised when he was coming at me, he had to go back himself. And Steve had said to me before, he's going to bait you. There's going to be one time when he's going to come on them ropes, he's going to bait you. You can't fall for it because he's just going to come over the top and he's going to try bang you with that backhand or left hook. And I've noticed one bit where he was on the back foot and Steve was going, don't fall for it, don't fall for it, Nathan, do not fall for it. And I'm following him and I can hear Steve, but it's not registering yet. It's not registering.
I got him.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall for this.
Yeah, and then I threw a jab, and then I saw that a counter right hand come, and I went, and then all of a sudden I heard Steve. So then I sort of stepped back for a second, and I drew a line on the floor, and I said, "Come on, then." And he just took it. He just took the bait and just come straight at me, and I just knew that I was like, right, I'm back to what I'm doing good at. And there was another one where we saw I had something similar, and I was waiting there, and I went, and I was like, I was just enjoying myself and just doing what I needed to do to make sure my game plan was being worked towards. It was nothing special. It's just,
People see, obviously, the big moment and your new British middleweight champion. People know about you. They know about the ring walk and the fans. But you've been boxing your whole life. Like, just wheel it all the way back. You were a kid. Like, how old were you when we've seen the old videos?
Yeah,
like,
so
you're a toddler.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a little boxing beanbag when I'm probably 2 years old I'm sat on as a baby. But I think my first ever time in the boxing gym was 9 years old at Queensbury Amateur Boxing Gym. And it was my dad that got me into boxing, forced me into boxing essentially. I had no choice. My dad was an amateur boxer himself, pardon me, and he had 50 fights. He's a bit of a banger, my dad was. But what he lacked in finesse and skills, he tried to put that into me years later when I was boxing. But yeah, it's from the age of 9 I was in the gym and I started competing from the age of 11. And boxed every year until the age of 26 when I stopped amateur boxing. So I've done it my whole life and
15 years an amateur.
Yeah. So it was great and I had great experiences throughout that time as well. I mentioned in the press conference just before the fight, I did everything I could to achieve something as an amateur. I never did. I was a massively underachieving amateur. I didn't do anything really. But there was one time when I was like 19, 20 years old. I used to drive from Stoke to Liverpool every day. It's like 120-mile round trip to do it just so I could box for the Rotunda and Liverpool. It's a very successful amateur boxing gym. It's like the Repton of the North essentially, or at least of that area of the country. And like I used to be sparring with Callum Smith week in, week out, Rocky Fielding, and mixing with all these great fighters, and it gave me experience for these days right now, which you don't think about at the time, but it did help me.
Is it true you had a vision or like a goal you wanted to sign with Frank Warren?
Yeah.
When did that pop up? Like, when did you establish that?
That was from the age of, I think, 17
Really?
when I realised I was never going to be a football player. I was too small.
It only dawned on you on 17?
Yeah. Because
I reckon you still do a job.
Yeah. Well, now I'm bigger now, so I could. If I was the size I am now, then I might have been okay. But I was just such a small kid. Even to the, I was like a really late developer. I didn't start growing until like 19. So that's why I can probably last a bit longer now, is it? Because I'm like 34 now, but I'm still getting better. Like, I'm still getting fitter, and I feel good. But anyway, yeah, it was like 17. I saw Frankie Gavin win the gold in the Chicago World Amateur Championships. I was thinking, I want to fight for England. Then instead of being obsessed with football, I became obsessed with boxing. Then boxing became my love. So I just wanted, for some reason in my head, I was like, I don't want to work. I want to be. I
know the feeling.
I don't want to work. I just want to be an athlete, essentially. So that's why it just became my sole focus. And then I was thinking, I need to win the ABAs. Then I can get signed by Frank. But that is so much easier said than done. It was hard enough getting out the Midlands area, to be honest. It was hard enough getting out the Midlands. And And I think I only did that once, to be fair. I think I only got out the Midlands once. So it's a bit of a weird dream to have, because how little I achieved as an amateur. Although I did beat a number of international lads, and I went over to Denmark and did really well in the tournament over there. So I showed ability, but I just never really did anything. So yeah, but no, all that experience throughout those years and all help me out now, really.
And you don't turn pro till you're 26.
27.
So, 27.
Yeah.
But it was still the dream to become a professional athlete.
Well, so the dream of fighting for Frank Warren sort of it disappeared the moment I stopped amateur boxing, because my first daughter Ava was born, and then I became a teacher at Stafford College, and then that was it. And then
how old were you then? Sorry?
I was 20. So I 25 or 26 got my teaching placement. And then where before I had to have boxing, this is how I'm going to make a career. Suddenly I then became a teacher, and that was my career. So I no longer needed boxing anymore. But then about a year after stopping amateur boxing, I then suddenly thought to myself, I'm going to have to try this pro boxing, even if it's on the small hall scene. Because I'd seen what had happened in Stoke-on-Trent. They turn pro, everyone goes to the first fight. Let's say 100 go to the first fight, then 80 go to the second fight, 60 go to the third fight, 40 go to the fourth, and then they have to retire because you can't sell any more tickets. And I never used to have anyone watching me fight as an amateur. So I thought to myself, I've got no chance on the small hall scene. Because I had this delusion, if you're with Frank Warren and that, you won't have to sell tickets. But that's not the case, really, because it's a business for them, as anything else. But I just thought, and I said to them, just give me 3 years, let me just see what I can do. And I was with Errol Johnson at BCB Promotion, so I went a bit different. I didn't go with who everyone used to go with in Stoke. I went outside the area. It was just me and my teammate Luke Catchy together, and Errol used to make some great shows in Stoke, and he just slowly grew each one. And then the 60 people came to my debut, then about 80 on the next one, 90 on the next, 100. And it just gradually increased. And then my Midlands area title fight, my first title, about 330 people went to that one. But my dad had died 8 weeks before that. Yeah, so So
8 weeks.
Well, in fact, he took his own life, and I went to his house and found him. But the next day is when the Midlands board actually sanctioned me to fight for the Midlands area title. Oh, God. And my manager Errol didn't know what happened to me dad, and I just texted back and I just said, "Yeah, get it sorted." So I just thought, yeah, I couldn't miss an opportunity like that. It sounds ridiculous, I know.
The day after,
yeah. Sounds very weird.
Did you just think, I got to get on with it?
I'd never got as upset. I didn't know you could get as upset as I did when I found my dad, and then driving home to see my wife and my daughter and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, but I managed to speak on my dad saying no without getting upset. So yeah, so I'll be fine. But it was hard. But then for
how many people turned? What was the in that Midlands area title fight? So your first title.
Yeah.
How many people
there was about 330 people that came to that. And it was amazing because it was in the King's Hall in Stoke, which is very much like the King York Hall, but just much better looking. And the acoustics are great in there. But
there's YouTube videos of those ring walks. That one is amazing.
Yeah, but I think for that one, people were supporting me as a person as opposed to supporting me as a boxer, because I think they knew what I'd gone through, and he was just there to support me. But it ended up being an absolutely incredible fight. One way, it was the first 4 rounds were 2 apiece. I'd hurt him the first round, he hurt me the second round. I visibly wobbled. Third round I hurt him, fourth round he hurt me. And it was like a real. And then all of a sudden, I listened to Steve finally and started boxing him out, and then won the fight. And it was very similar to when I won that belt. Just the relief of finally getting it, and it was a bit gutting just because my dad never got to see me win the first ever title. He got to see me. In fact, he never got to see anyone. I remember telling him that I'd sold 100 tickets, and he couldn't believe it. 100 tickets, it's amazing. But imagine if you saw all the other fights that we've had since then, with thousands of supporting me. He just I can't even explain how he would have felt, the pride he would have felt. And obviously a father myself, I can only imagine what I'd feel if my kids did something like that. But yeah, it's and like I'm not saying about my dad taking his own life, like, I'm just explaining the story behind it, because if that fight never happened, I don't think I'd be where I am now. Because it was from then, the next fight, there was 400 people that went. And then the next fight after that, there was 775 that went. And that was the one you saw at the King's Hall, where it was sold out and it went viral, the walkout did. And then that's when I got signed by Warren about 4 weeks later.
It was off the back of that one?
Off the back of that,
That was the first defence of that area title, was it?
Well, no, that was the IBO Continental.
Oh, yeah, of course. So
so that was the IBO Continental.
Yeah.
And
but next fight after that, so like your 10th, what was that, 10th, 11th
that was
fight?
That was my 10th fight, yeah. So, and yeah, because the next fight after I won, so my 7th fight was when I won the Midlands area, but my next fight after that was my first ever TV one, where I boxed on the BT Sports show on Frank's Midlands Mayhem card, and I wasn't signed by Frank at the time. I just took 360 with me down to Birmingham, and then I ended up boxing a really good slot. I was like a float, but I got on a really good slot, so it was great. But then nothing ever happened after that. It wasn't like I was signed and stuff. But my event, like that walkout that went viral, that was the week before the first ever lockdown happened. So that was basically one of the last ever sporting events outside of Cheltenham, and yeah, that changed everything then. Yeah, really.
At what point did you think, or was it always natural to you, like, I'm going to harness this, I'm going to do Delilah, all of my mates, my football fans are here, I'm going to make this my thing, or did it just happen organically?
So my first ever one was at this food banquet in hall in Bilston, Walsall. So it was like my supporters had to travel away, and it was freezing there. It was horrible, and I was coming out to that. I was just a bit awkward, but it wasn't anything special to it. But when I went to the King's Hall, and I like looking at the arena before, and just like I did with the Manchester Arena, there was a stage there, and I just thought you could do something with that stage a little bit. You could do a bit of theatrics to it. But bear in mind, I only had 80 people there watching me, so when I was doing it was awkward as anything else. It's a right idiot, to be honest. But in my head, I was just thinking, if the crowds get bigger, like one day it could look really, really good, possibly. Yeah. And I did look an idiot doing it, to be honest. I remember thinking to myself, I'm looking a right idiot. But then, fast forward a number of fights, and it was sold out. Stoke City flags all over the banisters, and it was exactly what I had in my head happened, and it was just all my guys will say that they were magical nights. They were just the electricity of the venue, how compact it was. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. But they've managed to move that now into these massive arenas as well. So it's still working really well.
It's incredible stuff.
How many were there on Saturday?
There was just over 2,000. Just over 2,000, yeah. So from like a lad who is an amateur, I'd probably 5 people there, like my dad, me girl, she was my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and just 1 or 2 of my friends, to then, and then even on my debut having 60 people going there, and it just growing the way it has. That's what I pinch myself to. Not so much the British title, that's amazing, and I love that I've achieved it. But that's something I never thought could happen. Like the amount of love and support that my city have shown me, and people from around the area as well.
Tell us a bit about that job as a teacher. So what is it, Staffordshire College?
Yeah, it was Stafford College, yeah.
Stafford College.
Yeah,
what was the job?
I was a sports lecturer, teaching like BTEC sports and like HND course as well. I did when I was at Newcastle College. But yeah, I was actually a student there. They did like a foundation degree course. So Stafford College was a satellite college to Staffordshire University. So you do your first 2 years there, and then the final year at Staffordshire University to make it the full degree. But I was fortunate, it was a very intimate class really. I had about 20 people in there, and then one day in my second year I had to do a presentation, and Jill Moss, bless her heart, lovely woman, Irish woman, she was one of the managers there, and she assessed me as part of the course. I did this presentation. It wasn't the best, but I thought it was okay. But she afterwards just spoke to me about teaching. Said, "Have you ever thought about doing teaching?" I was like, "Yeah, but not in college." She said, "Well, you could do it." So I didn't think I could. She said, "Listen, get at least a 2-1 in your degree, in the final year, and I gave you a placement here. I've never worked so hard in my life as a student. Like, I was always floaty through college, university. I couldn't be bothered, but I had a focus then, and then so I did that, and I loved it. I've worked with some amazing people like Vinny. I had Alex, I had Callie, Tim, Sava, Jack. I'm going to miss someone else here, but and they might get offended. But it was just, the office was mint. Like, just the bands that you had in there, it was just a really, really good place to work. The students were good. Some were great, some weren't. Like, I think I've said before, but I think working as a teacher for a year gave me the desire to start punching people again. So that's why I went back into professional boxing. But it's it's a tough job. But then other times are easy. But for me, it was the people I worked with. It was amazing.
Well, talking of punching people, Dec, we should have a quick break there because I've got you the best feature.
The best one we've ever done.
It's the best one we've ever done.
Okay, I can't wait. George, remind me again. How I become an elite club member?
Well, get a GGBC cap.
Done. What else?
Well, you could wear the hoodie.
Anything else?
Well, have you got a water bottle?
Anything else?
You could get a print for the wall.
It's cost me a fortune. Anything else?
Well, this is what it takes to be elite, Dec.
Does that mean I'm in the club now?
Nearly. One last thing. Just hit the follow button in your podcast app. Welcome to the club, Dec.
Oh, we'll have a push and a pull, mate.
Right, back in the game. So, Nathan, every week we have a feature for our guest, which is a quiz.
Always a quiz.
It's always a quiz.
Yeah.
And different quiz every week. And this week, I think you're half inspired by you, Dec.
Yeah.
Feature name.
We kick about feature names.
About
Nathan Heaney's good for puns. Okay. What do we land on?
Heeney, meeny, miny, KO.
Nice.
Right, so obviously...
Slightly tenuous at the end, but fine.
Yeah, don't worry about that, right?
Yeah. Heaney, meeny, miny, KO.
Yeah.
We've had worse, to be fair.
Right, so who's going to go first?
Well, what's the premise?
I'm joking.
Okay.
Nice. So, boxing quiz about knockouts, yeah? Right, yeah. I'm going to give you a fight. Yeah. I want you to just tell me what round it was finished in. Oh. And then... for the listeners and viewers, they can go back and watch these fights because they're incredible. Yeah. So if you go first, Nathan, then you just tell me higher or lower. We'll see who goes. Right. Okay. Who gets it right? And then you go. I go.
But if one of us just gets it right,
if you're on the button, boom.
Winner. Bash.
Do you want to go first or second?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Right. Okay.
Champ.
So Marius Bradus, I can never say his name right.
First round.
Fights.
No.
Manuel Char.
Oh, fuck! I forgot that fight.
Let's get. I don't think I've ever watched that fight. I'll go round 6.
Higher or lower?
I think it's 8.
It's 5.
Oh,
very close.
That's not good to see that one.
Brady lands a right uppercut, left hook, and he's out.
I thought you were going to say Brady. I thought you were going to say Brady Prescott. And I was round 1.
Yeah,
that was a Khan one. I hope that's not in there.
Ready?
I'm so ready. Born ready.
Gazaev.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I know.
And he's fighting. Is it Schmeling or
Schmeling? Max Schmeling?
Yeah, no, not him.
It's from the fucking 50s.
It's got to be. I haven't written his first name down. I fucked it right up. Schmeling.
I mean, I don't know who Schmeling is.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Gassiev. Murat Gassiev.
He wins, yeah.
He'll win in the 3rd round.
I was going to say 3. I'll say 2.
It's the first round.
First round.
Yeah. Oh, watch this one. Left hook. 10 seconds left in the round.
Schmeling.
That's how you spell it.
Anyway, whoever it is,
name gets folded.
Big shout out to him. 2-0 to you.
Yeah, we're not bang on at all.
This is like you against Denzel Bentley, running away with it.
Stop. Right, Andy Lee versus John Jackson.
Oh, what a knockout!
8.
Lower.
Yeah, it's the 5th.
5. That knockout.
Have you seen it?
The left hook one.
Oh, wait, it's a right hook.
Right hook. Yeah, that one.
Where he just goes flat in his face.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a
he's right.
Andy Lee, right? One of the you sparred him, didn't you?
Yeah.
One of the most underrated one-punch knockout men ever.
Yeah.
Like his
strong,
knockouts were insane.
Well, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, in sparring, he didn't really show it much either.
Get a little gloves
But when
on.
he needed to, he just pulled him out the.
Yeah.
I think he was down on the cards that night.
He was.
as well.
He always was.
He always was.
Like Peter
Well, the guy
Quinlan
was coming on
dropped him.
top. He's coming on top of him like he's hurt when he just bang.
Same with
straight
Korobov.
out.
He's behind and against Korobov and knocks him out. Amazing. Anyway, I'm back 2-1. Cheers, Andy Lee.
Julian Jackson.
Who's John Jackson's dad, by the way. Like that? You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Wayne Powell.
Never
I mean,
seen-
Jackson.
That sound like the worst boxing supporter in the world here.
No,
Wayne Powell.
it's not one of
At least
his.
it's not Schmeling.
Yeah, it's not one of his bigger
No, I
names,
thought
I
you were gonna
suppose,
say Harold
because he
Gray.
could easily have a highlight reel. Pound for pound highlight reel. What number are you going with? Who's it? It's Declan.
No, it's Nathan.
I'll go. Try and make it a bit easy for
No,
you.
actually, it's my go, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jackson. I'm going to go 4.
3.
On the button.
4, come on. Do I get double for that? Or?
It's knockout of the year in 1990.
Yeah, I knew it. I was going to say that.
Right, next one.
It's you, Nathan. That's 2-2, mate.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Vlad Klitschko
Never heard of him.
against Fast Eddie Chambers.
Ooh.
8.
I think it's 10.
It's 12.
Yeah.
I knew it was late.
It's like 10 seconds
I'm
to go.
back,
Take the lead.
baby.
10 seconds. 51,000 people.
See,
in the
what you
Dusseldorf
needed is
Stadium.
Steve in your ear going, he's just baiting you. He's baiting you.
Gotta move. You gotta move. Like
3-2. Come on.
Right. Sergio Martinez, Paul Williams.
Ooh, that's what a knockout that is. I reckon it was like 6.
backhand when he's
Yeah. Sends him face down. Another southpaw.
2.
2.
Early doors, yeah.
Fuck, well, it's
We
3-0.
are dreadful.
Yeah,
Well,
that
no,
is-
you got some bang on.
Yeah,
so
3-0.
Any bang on?
That's a bad
Face
one.
first, he's out. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Dillian White versus Povetkin 1. So Povetkin wins.
Yep. In the garden, in Matchroom Square
in
Garden.
the Matchroom Square Garden.
Remember this knockout?
Yeah.
Uppercut slips outside the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But what?
Yeah.
Then he's 4th round.
3.
5.
Oh! I remember it so well, and because he'd beaten him up.
Povetkin's down twice in the fourth.
Yeah.
And then he's up.
Oh, you're back
He was
in
out,
Ed now.
he's
This
out,
is like your Midlands area title fight. 4-3.
Another regular appearance. Julian Jackson.
Oh, fucking beat him again.
Errol Bomber
12.
11.
4.
Oh, was it? Oh,
I just went
lower and get the whole rest of the fight.
Jackson gets rid of him early.
Yeah.
4th round. It's fucking lights out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Takalu versus Wayne Alexander.
Legendary night.
Yeah, what's that? That's like early 2000s.
Yeah, it must be.
That's not the one where he like slips and he comes over the left hook when they both like almost like at the same
Yeah.
time. And he's
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna have to guess round 5.
He don't even know.
I haven't written the fucking round.
It's one where
down,
he's like he's out with the body shots or something. He's like he's out with the body
Yeah.
shots. He's tucking and just
Yeah, but yeah. I think
Yeah.
it is left up. I reckon. I think it was a bit later than that though. I seem to remember that was like a war. Go and check box right quick. Can't edit it on when it's on YouTube either. This is just dead
it's
time.
fucked, isn't
Sing
it?
Delilah for us while he's Takalu box wreck. Was it your call?
It's always at your call.
Always the same.
Always at your call.
What was your answer anyway?
This is a 5. I think I said 5.
5.
I think it was later, like 10.
2.
Oh, for fuck's
It's
sake.
bad fault.
KO.
Dreadful.
Yeah,
I thought
1 minute. It
knowledge
was
of
1 minute
boxing was
58 of the second round.
Okay.
Actually, Mickey
I
Brown
knew
was the ref.
Yeah, you knew that.
And Larry O'Connell was a judge with Reg Thompson.
Yeah, how'd you know that? How many have we got left? Come on.
Right, who's it's you
Fuck
now?
knows. Yeah, me.
Pacquiao Han.
3. Or is it 2? No, 2. 2. Last second of the
3.
of the second.
Yeah.
2 on the button.
Yeah.
Right. Marquez Pacquiao, the last one. Marquez wins.
8.
6.
6.
Yes. I think that might be level.
Alvarez versus Khan.
Oh, I was there. 5?
6.
6 on the button. Wilder, Dominic Brazil.
Whose go is it? It's my go.
It's my go. It's
Yeah.
my 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1. Yeah.
Vaporized
One
him.
and done. Right.
Yeah.
David Tua, John Ruiz.
3.
2.
It's 1.
Yeah.
Literally comes out, hits him, and it
Oh,
just
that
keeps
one.
hitting him before he hits the floor. Brutal. Right.
You'll go, Nathan.
Yeah. Jose Zapida and Ivan Baranchek.
9.
12.
5.
I'd watch that
Dreadful.
fight. That was unbelievable.
Dreadful.
Yeah. They got 8 knockdowns.
Yeah, that was a
and then
mental
5
fight.
rounds.
Yeah.
Right, last one. Ray Mercer versus
Merciless. I know what you're going to say. Tommy Morrison against the ropes, getting 7. I hate it when he looks up and he's got it wrong.
I'm going to say 2.
5.
Oh.
5.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah,
you're
that's
close,
bad.
Oh, it's bad.
That's a real bad. I think you
It's
won there,
bad.
Nathan. I reckon you can keep your title.
Yeah,
There's no time.
Yeah.
I'll keep the title, yeah.
Yeah. 10-6. Fucking.
Oh, fair play.
See that? Now, Rob,
I
keeps score.
won with the worst boxing knowledge you could ever have.
Our old producer, shout out Ross, he never kept score. We had no idea. Now we're actually exposing me
Ross.
for bad. And now that's bad though, because it means that's 10-6. That's a white.
Yeah.
I think one judge had it level though.
Yeah. There's always one in there.
Yeah. Where's the celebration? Well,
He didn't celebrate.
no,
as
he
much.
didn't celebrate. It didn't mean that much to him.
He visualised himself being 4 rounds down. After
Yeah, he's
2 weeks
he's
ago.
watching Gassiev against Sherman or whatever his name was. Anyway, you said in the build-up to that fight, well, you said it already today, that was like your FA Cup final for you. That was like your World Cup final. So what happens now? Like, what's the are you reassessing goals? Like, what you look? What
You
you
go
hoping
Champions
for?
League now, don't you? Or the
You
World
qualified.
Cup. Like, do you know what I mean? I was saying that in football, in terms of like, it's the FA Cup final of British boxing, because that's what it is on the domestic scene. But now it's just, I definitely want to, like I said, it's mad to think about it, but Frank did say the winner will fight for a world title next year, and I was the winner. So, I mean, Bentley fought Janabek previously and gave a very good account to himself. I had a very good fight with him. Now, listen, even if I got splattered in the first round, I love the privilege of fighting for a world title. You know, to be the first person from my city anyway to have ever done that, and just see how if I could give a good account of myself and win it. There's been stranger things happening in the world, so who knows? But that's essentially what I would love to happen.
You're in a division as well, which is like wide open. It's strange because it would seem to be sewn up. I mean, even into like at the top level, it seemed to be sewn up for years, and now it's like Janabek's signed kind of in many people's eyes the number one, but then we don't know what Charlo's doing. It's kind of open for someone to gate crash the party.
Yeah,
because some divisions aren't.
No,
and your one definitely is.
Yeah. So it'd be very interesting. It's mad to even think that can be discussed, but it certainly can. So I'm just open to whatever can happen in that regard, because it'd be. Yeah, I've proved myself in that last fight a little bit. I just need to prove myself a little bit more now, in terms of if we go for higher titles.
Are you a free agent at the moment, or are you signed to Warren?
No, I'm a Queensbury boy. I am, and then that was my dream. I was a Frank Warren. It was my dream to fight for Frank Warren, and that's the way it'll be. That's the way it'll be.
And they got to carve you out a route now to get you to that world title.
Yeah, well, they've been giving me good fights on the way up, and every fight's challenged me in different ways. Like, even when I've boxed a lad called Diego Ramirez from Argentina, he stopped Bradley Skeet and stopped him completely. And in fact, that lad put me on my arse when I boxed him in the first round, and that taught me something. But then obviously Jack Flatley, and then he really stuck it on me with Bentley. But I've come through it now, so just see what else they can sort for me.
That also on Saturday night, Tyler Denny won the European middleweight title. Yeah. That's, I mean, for me, that seems like such a good fight. You two British European titles. Yeah,
it certainly does. I really like Tyler. He's a good lad, and to be fair, we've probably sparred 50 rounds together.
Have you?
Yeah. Like Denny was probably my last spar before Denzel Bentley. Like he was one of the last spars that I had. In fact, I think he was the last spar I had, and then I sparred with the amateurs in house about 3 days later. So yeah, but he's very awkward and very good at what he does. Very good. So, and that's why I loved, because I thought to myself, Bentley might change southpaw in the fight. So then Tyler throws awkward looping shots as well, just like Denzel does. So he was perfect. But listen, Tyler's done amazing. In one night, BCB Harold Johnson had Liam Davis, European champion, Tyler Denny, European champion, and me as a British champion in one night. It was phenomenal for him. And so I'm very happy for all the lads, Liam, Tyler, and most importantly Errol, our manager. It was great.
What we see these days, wherever anyone is from, they go, we could do a fight in the stadium, regardless of any allegiance to a football team. But you've got this genuine link to Stoke City.
Yeah.
Big fan. All the fact that's a realistic ambition for you.
It certainly is. And Frank's been trying to get it sorted for a while. But now, I think with that British title win, it could open something more up in terms of not being a British title fight at the ground. It could be a world title fight at the ground. So I've just got to keep progressing. Just keep working hard like I am in the boxing, and just see what Frank and George can do. And I'll be open to anything.
Just excited just thinking about that. Like, I went to the Frampton Nights in Belfast and that, and like, but you in the Stoke Stadium for a world title would be like a moment in British boxing history.
Yeah, and a moment for my city as well, for Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah,
we lack a lot in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the city. When you go to Manchester or London, it's just incredible what you've got, like the bars, the pubs, the restaurants and stuff. We haven't really got anything like that in Stoke. All we've got is the people. The people are phenomenal. Like the greatest hearts you'll ever meet in people. Very friendly, great people, and you see how they support me as well. And obviously people love the walkout to like Delilah and stuff. But imagine 20,000. Imagine that. And I don't care who's in the corner. That would be intimidating. I don't care who you are. It would definitely play a part. And we've seen like what Josh Warrington's done to upset the bookmakers. And like you said, we've got Carl Fancy. It can turn normal people into something a little bit more, because they just give you that. So we just got to see what happens.
On that, because we had Chris Billham-Smith, and obviously he boxed at Bournemouth. He's a proper Bournemouth fan. You're a proper Stoke fan. Bellew, proper Everton fan. Bellew always said it was like a nightmare in the end, because it's like he's been going there his whole life, and then he's like, shit, if I lose here, I can never come back. It's like this ridiculous pressure that you just pile on yourself by doing it.
Yeah, no,
do you know what I mean?
That wouldn't bother me. Just being like, see, I envision myself as a football player there, like. So envisioning things doesn't always work, but just to be on the pitch with a boxing ring and the big light show that they've got at Stoke City, which looks amazing. Mate, I could get knocked out in the first round. I've achieved something that's just will be amazing. For that 1 minute before you get knocked out, it'll be the best atmosphere you've ever seen. But obviously I wouldn't be.
You'd be winning anyway, wouldn't you?
I would not want that to happen. Like, and I don't think it would happen. But anything can happen in boxing. But the fact that you're there, you've already won, and you've created something for the city that may never ever happen again. It's definitely a once in a lifetime kind of thing where the support all comes together, and could create something like that, particularly for Stoke-on-Trent.
It's incredible.
Got 2 bits of housekeeping, George.
Yeah.
You're going to do the second one. I want the first one. It's not even on the script. Who's your favourite ever Stoke player?
Ricardo.
I was hoping you're going to say that.
Ricardo
what
Fuller.
A player.
And what's even crazy, what's even more mad than that, is he was there watching me fight in the Manchester Arena.
Was he?
Yeah. He's such a great bloke. What a player. Just, he could be dead lazy, but man, the magic that man can create.
I remember one goal he scored where he sort of like chipped over someone's head, like a Bergkamp sort of job.
It's phenomenal.
Does he live in Stoke still?
I don't know where he lives. Yeah, I think he's local. Yeah,
he's just a big Nathan Heaney fan.
He's just a great individual. Like it. And yeah, there's some great players that play for Stoke, but I think that's what made that team so great, is who they were as people as well. Just hard-working grafters, and you could just see the chemistry that those guys used to have between each other. But for me, Fuller is the one.
I was hoping you'd say that. I reckon, George, you're going to ask the last question. I reckon I know the answer.
Yeah, do you know the answer?
Yeah.
So every week we ask our guests to add their Ringwalks playlist, whatever their Ringwalk tune would be, to our playlist that we've got on Spotify.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
You got any ideas?
I think we know it's obviously Tom Jones Delilah.
Yeah.
That I think, unfortunately, that'll be played at my funeral as I walk in, to be honest. So it's a bit thingy, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just amazing.
Can you listen to? You must hear it all the time.
No.
Can you hide away from it and save it for your Ringwalk?
No, well, obviously you're singing it Stoke all the time anyway, but on the way, I normally listen to it once or twice the day of the fight. Just be like, just remember what it sounds like, just so you know what the feeling is. But I forgot to do it last time. So I said to Steve on the way up in his car, sorry mate, I need to put Delilah on. So put Delilah on, turned it up, and then I listened to it. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. So yeah,
that's Stoke through and through.
Yeah, it sets the tone, mate.
Eating oatcakes and listening to Delilah on the way up.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we might say that Amazing.
Lovely.
Nathan
Thanks
Heaney's
for coming
the new British middleweight champion.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Soon to be European world champion.
Well, who knows? Who
We'll
knows?
be at Stoke,
But
won't
thank
we?
you.
We'll be at Stoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much.
Nice one, Nathan.
How about that then, Deck?
Nathan Heaney, the underdog to end all underdogs. But he's not really anymore, is he? Because he's a champ.
No, yeah, but I mean, exactly, he's a champ, but it's hard to sort of shake that underdog sort of status, which he's now inherited through this Denzel Bentley fight. So he's pushing for big fights. Guess what? He'll probably be the undercard. He'll be the underdog again.
He'll be the main event.
He'll be main event. He's certainly main event.
Yeah.
Big ticket seller.
I mean, it's impossible.
I know you're thinking why. Why? But he is.
It's impossible not to root for Nathan Heaney. Like, you can see why he sells that many tickets. His story is unbelievable. Poignant story. Obviously, there was some emotional moments there, and he wraps it all up and delivers a performance like that on Saturday night. And I'm genuinely, that night, if they do it at Stoke City Stadium, that would just be something very, very special.
Absolutely.
I'll be there singing Delilah on press row.
Doing a Tom Jones impression, or just
just doing the song. You'll probably be working doing the comms or something, won't you? That's your sort of vibe these days. But if you're quite busy with that these days. But if people wanted to reach you, say on the socials, do you still even look at them?
Well, you can reach us on our. I'll use that on a little plinth. You can reach it on our socials at the GG Boxing Club.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Send us a message. Leave us a comment. Share, like, and subscribe. You don't really need to subscribe to TikTok, but it sounds
Can
good.
you subscribe on TikTok?
I don't know.
Who cares? Do you know what else you can do?
Well,
if you go on the iTunes, you could leave us a review.
Love that.
Someone left us a review, George.
Is it 5-star?
5 stars, of course. Morgan Howell, George Groves, and his quote-unquote partner, Deck. Take that, partner in crime. Give a little bit of intellect to the boxing podcast scene. Intellect.
I don't mean we take windy walks or hold hands.
George has always shown his intelligence when he was fighting. He continues to give great insights into the world of boxing. It's not just reviews of upcoming fights and recent action they touch on, but they also touch on some of the other interesting aspects of the sport, like when you have to give your belt back to the champ you've just beat, or what's your first loss like, or, it can add to this, Morgan, being an underdog. Morgan says, I listen to it on my road work and it gets me through it and it makes me smile. Thanks. All I can say to that is thanks. Thanks back. Morgan Howell, that's the sort of review we want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is a thorough review.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, if you read that review, you're probably thinking, I don't even need to listen to the show.
No, I'm going to follow that
so
now.
That was, I'm going to follow.
I want to hear more from Morgan.
Review. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's Apple.
What about Spotify? Anything happening on Spotify these days?
Well, you can sort of follow us on Spotify, which is very important, but you can also search for our playlist, The Ring Walk, and listen to every one of our guests' ring walk tracks. This is what they would ring walk to. So if you're in your bedroom shadow boxing, thinking about making a comeback, if you're out, like you might be doing from time to time, Deck, shreds, running up that hill, listening to
Kate Bush on
Bush, Placebo.
Yeah.
And
so now it's just why Delilah.
You don't want to listen to why as you're trying to get up that hill.
No.
When you're coming down the hill, you know why.
Yeah, you're cruising.
Yeah.
All right, so that's on Spotify. What about if you don't like adverts? Any options?
Yes, there is a great option for that, which is Amazon Music.
Oh.
So Amazon fulfill every need possible, one of them being music, and if you want to listen to our show there, you won't get hit with an advert.
Do you know what's even sweeter, George?
What's even sweeter?
This podcast is now available on YouTube. So you can see Nathan Heaney, you can see his belt, you can see his battle scars.
Yes, he's got sort of a little marking under the eye. It's on its way out, so it's gone a bit yellow, which is like a detail that probably the most casual fan won't know about, because they don't see fighters.
No, this fresh from battle. Yeah, so YouTube, of course. And you can listen to it always on audio. But if you want to see it, you want to see us in brilliant Technicolor, we're on YouTube now. We're at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, George, on YouTube.
Yes.
So you can do both or you can do either, but don't say we don't,
do both.
We don't cater for everyone.
Do both.
I'll see you next week, George.
See you next week, Deck.